Does it always make sense, this daughter and father, for you naysayers who don't want to bother? It's a bond that feels stronger than any other.
My name is Darren. I am the dad of two absolutely incredible kids, Alexandre, who is 14, Jose, who is 16. My dad passed away when I was 12 years of age, and it's been quite a journey during the last 38 years trying to be a dad and trying to grow up without a dad. The conference in Winnipeg, the second annual Fatherhood Conference in Canada, the theme is vulnerable dads. Now, what does a vulnerable dad look like? And what does one feel like? I lost my dad to suicide. And that hit me and impacted me significantly as a kid. And that carried forward throughout life. And as I stand this present moment, unfortunately this past week there was a dad who ended up not only taking his life to suicide, but he also took his daughter's life, his mom's life, his wife's life, and his own life. So I feel it's very important that we come forth and come together in a supportive group where dads are really listened to, heard, and validated, so they're able to process what's happening for them and to empower those dads while staying out of their way. I believe that's what we owe our dads, but most importantly, that's what we owe our children. First of all, for me to continue to work on myself. That it truly is an inside job for myself as a dad to work through what it was like to grow up without a dad, trying to change my picture of what it is to be a dad and what it is to be a great dad, because I can only base that on what I know. And it's important for me to continue to work through my own issues and my own challenges first and foremost. And those would be probably the biggest ones. Everything else will take care of itself after that.
My name's Chris. I'm a single dad. And whenever you say single dad, there's always somebody else in the picture. For me, it's my mom who's, she takes care of the kids when I'm at work or at school or doing other things, which is fantastic to have that someone. In my case, she's awesome. When I went in search of support for what I was going through, I didn't find any really. There's support out there for single moms, there's support out there for mothers in general, but really there's nothing out there for dads. So the need to find somewhere to turn to find someone to contact, to be able to ask the questions, to be able to ask the questions that I had and get answers to them. I found a serious lack of support out there, and I would have appreciated having just someone to turn to answer the questions, whether they be legal or financial, or what rights and responsibilities I have as a father. I would appreciate having a contact to go to, or even a mentor who could answer most of the questions. One thing that would have made all the difference for me. The one thing that would have made all the difference, I think personally, would have been to have a positive role model to turn to. So being incarcerated as a dad is it's a horrible experience. For me, while I was on remand, I couldn't even speak to the kids. So I went for 18 months without contact with the kids altogether. I spent 18 months in jail without contact with my kids, which was absolutely horrible. Because of the charges, the nature of the charges, I had no contact agreement with the kids, And yeah, so there was, and you know, I understand the situation, but it sucked. Really, the whole inability to be able to be a father, even when you're incarcerated. Like, the kids still know who I am. They still, I mean, I have them full time now, but they knew then, you know, and they knew that they weren't allowed to speak to me either. And there's just something inherently wrong with that. And as for all the guys, you know, that were in jail that could speak to their kids, a lot of them were limited by their situation. Either, you know, social services or their exes or someone, you know, was preventing them from having visitations with your kids and being able to even speak to them on the phone. And when you're in jail, like, there's no internet. You're not allowed to have internet whatsoever. So you can't use all the modern methods, you know, to be able to communicate with people. You're strictly limited to phone conversations. And, you know, and then sometimes, like, you're a lot of the time you're alone with your thoughts. And you don't know what they're thinking. You don't even know what you're thinking anymore because you haven't seen them in so long, and you don't know what they look like. Maybe you've been sent a few pictures from, you know, from the olden days, and you know what your kids used to look like, but you haven't been interacting with them, and you just don't know. That whole sense of not knowing is really an unpleasant experience. And I think that a lot of the guys that are in jail, that are in provincial or federal prison, have that feeling where they don't know what's going on in the outside, and they can't really relate. And I think that us, you know, at Support for Dads, we're trying to help the guys that are inside be better fathers, be great dads, and so that when they do get out, when they do finally get a chance to rebuild and reconcile the relationship with their kids, they'll have a much better footing. They'll have a much better understanding of how to relate to them, how to really listen to their kids, and how to really start the building of their relationship again. And I think that's a really great thing.
My name's Steve Long. I have two daughters of my own. I got to raise them from the time they were 11 or so, I guess, 10 or 11, until they went off to college and finished school. I also have a stepdaughter and a stepson. One's finished school, my stepdaughter's finished school, and stepson's going to finish school this year. I'm a granddad now, so been fortunate enough to see the returns from the effort of trying to be a great dad. You know, my biggest issue was kind of stepping aside and trusting my intuition and trusting myself, or learning, I guess, how to trust myself and letting it happen.
It's Bill Lane, and I'm a father. You know, it's the number one thing is that we're able to have the opportunity to be a father. I think we need a place to go to. It's, you know, there's obviously lots of material that we can read about online or via books and things like that, but there's nothing like being able to talk to somebody face to face who's either had the experience or been through some of the issues or challenges that I might go through as a father as well, and having that person being able to share their experience so I can learn from it. I see that as being a tremendous resource.
Well, someone you can talk to about anything, and someone who you can look up to, and someone you want to be like when you grow up.
And he's my dad.
Good answer.
Probably train with him, because he always tells me to never give up, and it inspires me not to. And go out with him just do whatever.
Hug Dad. Yes. That's pretty much it. Because I hug him a lot.
And what do you like most about your dad?
He's really fun and really nice. And he's really huggable because I hug him a lot. Believe me, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
That I can talk to him about anything and that I can always look up to him. Well, he's someone that I really look up to because he never gives up and he's always there for me, and we've had our ups and downs, but I can always count on him to do anything for me.
It doesn't always make sense, this daughter and father, for you naysayers who don't want to bother. It's a bond that feels stronger than any other, any other. I get to watch you grow, far to heal. I get to watch you grow, from far